Welcome to another episode of Pitstop Fracas. I am your host, Mahad, and welcome to our review of the Italian GP in Monza. Um, Before we get started, follow us on Pitstop Fracas on Twitter, follow us on Pitstop Fracas on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Leave your comments. We love all your comments. If you want to buy F1 merch, please use the link, our Fanatics link, to get all the F1 merch you need. You'll find that in this description below if you're watching on YouTube and if you're listening on Spotify and Apple. And if you are listening on Spotify and Apple, please give us just a 5-star review as well. Helps us with the algorithms. There's lots of F1 podcasts now, but remember we were up there. We were the originators, get me? So please give us that 5-star review and help us out. Today, I'm joined by Kwame. How you doing, brother?
I'm okay, bro, man. I can't lie. This race was drier than a certain journalist kebab dish. I can't lie, man. Like, this race was dry. But I promise I'll probably be, way more saucy than that, man. Honestly.
Our pods are always better than the race. And everything in the whole world is better than Will Buxton's kebabs. Because my man's freezing kebabs, don't meat. And that's unacceptable. Will, if you're listening to this, it's unacceptable. But I'm glad to be joined by you, Kwame. We will be joined by Martz in a bit, the legendary Martz. But we'll get started already with qualifying and penalties. We just want to have a quick chat about this because qualifying, Charles Leclerc, pole position, nothing that special. He was always on pole. Did it in front of Tifosi, had the pressure on him, lives up to the expectation. Max Verstappen second, and Lord knows who was third because this is the issue. Nobody knew where they were started at the beginning of the race. Nobody knew the grid positions because so much people had penalties for taking engines, ERS, gearboxes, just a whole matter of things. So where everybody qualified wasn't actually where they were going to start during the race. And nobody knew, even the drivers. We had Pierre Gasly tweeting out, where am I starting in tomorrow's race? 4 hours after qualifying. Kwame, what do you think about this whole penalty nonsense and not understanding where people should be on the grid with the penalties? Should they just get rid of the penalties altogether? Or should they just add a time penalty? What should they do?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like the whole penalty thing was a bit of a joke, personally. I feel like, cool, I understand, rules and regulations should be there because, you can't have, unlimited engines or unlimited gearbox changes to a car. Otherwise, he would just take the mick out of it and just do, engine changes every race. You can't be having that. So I understand the limit of, 4 changes per season. And then, after that, you get, penalties, which I think is fair. And it makes sense because, we are in Monza. Monza is a very engine dependent track. So, teams are going to, want the best engine they can get. That's what the changes. But the fact is, the fact that all these changes, ruin the grid. Was they put or qualifying? Because, you see drivers, you see drivers, for example, like my boy Yuki, for example, he got into Q2, and then you kind of realize there's no point in me qualifying, and then you just kind of just drop down the grid. And so forth, because he was at the back. So, but yeah, let me list off the list for you guys. So, Tsunoda was the back of the grid, Hamilton back of the grid, Sainz back of the grid, Manson 15th place grid penalty, Bottas 15th place grid penalty, Schumacher 15th place grid penalty, Perez 10th place grid penalty, Ocon 5th place grid penalty, and Verstappen 5th place grid penalty. So that's what 9 drivers, pretty much half the grid essentially, taking penalties. And boy, mixture of engines and penalty points and a mixture of gearbox. So I get, teams taking penalties, but I feel like there should be a way to, kind of, because a lot of teams, like I said, they just did it on purpose. They knew, Monza, we need engine, so let's, take penalty and have a better car. So I feel like there needs to be a way of kind of, FIA combating it. But I feel like, good penalties should be there. But, it's insane. It's just a bit mad, I can't lie, but it is what it is, I guess.
Do you think they should possibly increase the pool of parts that they should be allocated so they don't get a penalty? Or do you think maybe they should just do this punishment another way? Like I've seen somebody suggest maybe they lose drivers and constructors points for taking a new engine. would that kind of like deter this like kind of wastefulness? Because sometimes you have to take a penalty because your engine's blown up and you can't use it. But sometimes people are just doing it so they can just add more to the pool.
You have to think because, like, I agree with that. Because I feel like the majority of them are just adding to the pool. Some of them, like I said, if the engine blows up and the engine's faulty, not much you can do. You saw early in the season when Ferrari they had like a full engine, that had to change to old engines. That makes sense, but I feel like the penalty deduction is quite penalty. The point deduction, so I feel like it's a pretty harsh method, but for the teams, but for the fans, I feel like it'd be pretty interesting to be honest with you. You know, certain teams with a 5-point deduction, for the race, and I feel like that will, the incentive of teams to be more careful. But I feel like it'd be a bit too harsh. The time, penalty, 10-second penalty, 5-second, stop and go, whatever, drive to the pit lane, whatever penalty, they come up with during the race. That'd be interesting to see as well. But I feel like that would be the same kind of issue you have. Let's say half the drivers have got stop and go penalties, then you have to calculate that during the race, and it'd be a bit of a mess. So I feel like point penalty, even though harsh, would be an easy way of sorting it out for sure.
I think with today, we saw Hamilton signs towards the back of the grid and Perez as well. They made their way up like it was nothing. So it's not even like a deterrent for taking the parts because their cars are way better than the rest of the grid and they managed to get through it anyway. Sainz was just like cutting through the grid like it was butter. So to me, it's not really a punishment. Max was third by the end of lap 1. So it's not really a punishment for these guys for adding this. And I think, look, I understand Monza. Monza's 80% throttle the lap. You need a fresh engine, regardless. So a lot of teams just decided to do that. You saw what happened with Ricciardo and Vettel today. Their engines got dusted because Ricciardo hasn't had a new engine in ages. Vettel hasn't had a new engine in ages. So it was just, that's how harsh these type of tracks are. We've got a larger calendar now. Personally, I think you need to just increase the allocation by at least by 1 for each component, just to stop this type of nonsense. Because now people are just doing like strategic type of moves regarding when they're going to take it and when they're not going to take it, and so on. You need to add a little bit more jeopardy to it as well. Like, I don't want people to be actually doing strategy for engine components. I want them to actually think, oh no, my engine's blown up. I need to get an engine in. That's why I have to take the penalty. So imagine somebody took a penalty in like Zandvoort or something because they were forced to because they had no engines left in the pool. That's the kind of punishments that I would like around engine penalties. But the whole thing about FIA not actually knowing where people are, not being able to communicate that amongst the teams 4 hours after a race, Kwame, that's a bit ridiculous, right? You can't have rules and not know how to apply them, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's insane that the FIA didn't know how to handle the penalties. I thought all of that would kind of been done straight away, essentially after the race. I thought they'll have like a system or some sort of software that will do it for them. And then the communication side was poor. You can't be having drivers literally asking members of the public on Twitter, what position am I in? You can't have it where drivers literally wait until 11 o'clock at night when the qualifying finished at 4 p.m. about where am I, what's happening? How do the drivers not know? How does the media, the journalists don't know? How does the own FIA themselves? How are they posting out the official start grid in the morning on a Sunday? It's insane, and I feel like, yes, cool. A lot of drivers saying penalties is not going to make it easier, but they should have had a plan beforehand, way more quicker than they did.
The world is watching. I said this at the beginning of the race weekend. Football's cancelled because of the death of Queen Elizabeth. So the whole world's eyes are on Formula One. Well, more eyes than usual, right? Monza, it's a nice race. It's a nice track. People watch this race. So the viewing figures are quite up compared to other weekends. And I said the FIA can't be out here embarrassing themselves. And straight after quality, they've embarrassed themselves already, immediately. It's ridiculous. We're going to speak about the other stuff that happened later on in the race, and even some of the stuff they were doing in F3 and F2, like some of the decisions they were making. Some of them correct, rightly correct, but some of them just like, what's going on here? I don't really understand. Where's the consistency? The whole world was watching the FIA this weekend, and they showed their ass. They showed their ass. But
But I'll say
we'll
before we
move
go
on.
on, but I'll say
Go
I'll be quick here. And the worst thing is that as well, like the position of where the drivers quality. It's not even a hard thing to calculate. You just literally add 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So not 5 seconds, 10 seconds. 5 places, 10 places. That's all you do. It's just quick maths. It should take a couple minutes at that, but it took them hours to do. So yeah,
Because they have different interpretations of the rules within their own organization because the regulations are not clear and they're poorly drafted. That's the problem.
Facts.
So the
And
people
that's
that
the problem that
drafted
happened today as well.
and we said this last year. We said it before even the AD and stuff like that. I was like, these regulations are poorly drafted, man. They don't have clear and concise instructions of what they should do in X scenario, Y scenario, and all the permutations behind that as well. It's poorly drafted, so they're making it up on the fly as they go along. We've said this for ages, and it keeps biting them on their ass because when it is time to deal with such situations that are awkward, they don't know what to do with it. Even when you see it in the race, I have a certain opinion on what they should have done, and we're going to hear that later on. But they choose to just do the wrong decision every single time. And then when they do the right decision, people think it's the wrong decision because you've been making the wrong decision before. It's just an endless spiral of stupidness by the FIA. But like I said, Kwame, we'll move on. We'll actually talk about the race itself. Bit of a snooze fest, but race start was a bit interesting. We had Charles Leclerc on pole, George Russell second, Norris third, and Daniel Ricciardo fourth. And they had Max Verstappen all the way back in 7th, and I think Hamilton and Sainz were like 17th and 18th and 19th. So they were all the way back. And Perez was like 15th or something like that. Kwame, this subject is going to hurt me, but we need to talk about Lando Norris, man.
Well, that start was awful, man.
This ain't the first time.
Yeah, that start was awful, man. Man dropped from from P3, P4 to that P8, literally at the end of the straight. Like
from P3 to P8.
P3 to P8. That start was dreadful. I mean, I know they're talking about he probably had issues with his brakes, but I feel like it's just a poor start in general. I just feel like I don't know if it's the car now because it's not the first time. Like Mahad, he's a big McLaren fan. You can tell he's upset if he watches on video. I don't know if it's the car or him. I don't know what is it, the reactions or the car just not going straight away off the line. But this ain't the first time it's happened, and that drop was a big drop. But obviously even the car because Ricciardo had a decent start himself. Ricciardo had a good start, so Ricciardo overtook. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's Orlando. But yeah.
No, it's definitely Orlando. I'm not. He went into like anti-story. He just messed up, man, and that's kind of a weakness in his game that his race starts is sometimes it just drops the ball there. He was trying to hit up his tires too much, and then he was sitting there for too long, and then that's what happens. And then he got eaten up. He got gobbled up, man. I think he went all the way down. Actually, he didn't go to P8. He went to P7, and then he overtook Alonso again. So by the time they got to Lesmo, he was ahead of Alonso again.
Actually, you're right. So P6 by that point.
Yeah. So he dropped positions to Ricciardo, to Gasly, and to Verstappen. And then Verstappen, once he was in there, he was cooking. He went from 7th to 4th in one lap.
So, this is what happens when you have the fast car in the grid, isn't it? This happens when you have a very powerful Honda engine that's reliable. You're going to just bomb up the field. Overtook, like I said, 3 cars in the first lap. By lap 4, he's up to P2, P3. Fighting out with Leclerc and Russell. It was insane. So yeah,
like let's be serious here because I know a lot of our listeners and even cast members don't like Max Verstappen yet. But right now, we've got a situation where the car is extremely good. Yeah, he is extremely comfortable with the car, and he is extremely confident because of the whole of last year and all the race wins this year. That is a scary combination. And now he's won, what are we on now? 5 of the past? 5 wins in a row? Let me count. Hungary, Spa, Zandvoort, Monza. So 4. He's on 4 in a row. This is a problem, man. It's not a problem for like people that are Red Bull fans or whatever. It's a problem for the rest of the grid. Because if you went to the bookmakers this morning, Verstappen's still the favourite to win the race, not Leclerc. It was the same in Spa. So Las Vegas knows he's going to win the race. Most of us know he's going to win the race. He's going from 7th to 4th in one lap. He's in the fastest car, and he can literally see Charles Leclerc ahead of him. No, he's not even that far ahead. He's only a couple seconds ahead of him. It's a foregone conclusion at this moment in time. It's shades of Vettel 2013 right now. Right?
Yeah. But one. He's won.
It's just
6.
how many won?
11.
11 he's on 11 races this year.
Yeah, 11 races this year. And
The
he won
record-
5 back to back.
What's the record?
Right now.
Records. Let's check this. Let me check this. I think it's 13. You know,
30. Schumacher.
13 races in a season is Schumacher, isn't it?
Yeah. Schumacher 4.
2004.
04.
And do you know what? Those people
four.
that say, Michael Schumacher had less races in a season. Yeah, I think he's gonna do it. How many races have we had this season already? What race?
12?
What race we gone? Well, I think we're in 17th, 16th. No, 16 races. 16 races, yeah? We've had 16 races this year, yeah? Michael Schumacher had 18 races and won 13. He can match Schumacher's record in the same amount of races. 13 and 18. If he wins the next 2 races. This is scary hours, bro. This is scary. These are like longer standing records that have been there since 2004. You know what I'm saying? This is what Red Bull have done. They've decided to make a machine that's just cooking. This is dominant machines, bro. Because at the end of the day, yeah, people can say, oh, yeah, car tax, whatever. But it's a combined effort of the engine manufacturer, the designers, the aerodynamicists, the strategy team, the pit crew, the driver. It's a collective achievement for all of them together. Same way it was a collective achievement for when Hamilton wins at a Mercedes. It was a collective achievement for them as well, especially in 2014 to 2016 when they built such a dominant car. Sometimes in Formula One, people just get it bang on. They nail it. They nail the regulations. And then people will contrive that into, oh, it's boring. So people call the 2014 to 2016 Mercedes era boring because, look, all of them were winning races by miles and stuff like that. Same with Vettel in 2013 and 2011. Same with Michael Schumacher. When they see such an era of dominance, it's never applauding the team for actually working together and achieving such such dominance. It's more, this is boring. Look at this. What the hell is this? This is too dominant. Whatever. And that's what Mercedes have been accused of for how long. And Red Bull are probably going to get accused of it now. It's just the game, part and parcel of the game. But people that really like know F1 and appreciate F1 from the jump, yeah, there's something to appreciate with that, to be able to dominate in such a fashion. Like, I wasn't the type of person to say, oh, I'm going to switch off the TV. Hamilton's winning by 30 seconds. If he's winning by 30 seconds, so what? That means everybody smashed it. Pit crew smashed it. Car smashed it. Hamilton smashed it. Everybody smashed it together. The other guys, they need to pattern up. That's why I said, Ferrari, just build a better car, man. Everybody else, just build a better car, man. I say it to myself, McLaren, build a better car, man. Because man are going from 7th to 1st winning the race. What was it in Spa? 40th or something to 1st.
Oh, 40th,
what was it in Hungary?
Yeah.
10th to 1st. That means everybody's car is shit, man. Everybody's car is shit, man. I'm telling you now, the gap between their car and the rest of the cars are shit. The guy is violating. Ferrari are getting murked right now. Even though Sainz was cooking today. Let's talk about Sainz.
Yeah, we need to talk about Sainz before they do us on, Verstappen points. So yeah, let's.
No. Listen, look, we have to talk about Verstappen. He's winning the thing, bro. You might as well not watch Formula One right now because he's won how many races? He's won bare races in the last 2 seasons. Come on, man. You're watching Formula One. You're not watching IndyCar. You know what I'm saying? We could do it IndyCar pod if you want. IndyCar's popping. Finale Sunday. We don't. You probably know the winner by the time this comes out. Sainz, he was cooking at the beginning.
Yeah, good race. Good race.
By a lap, was it? By a lap 2, he was ahead of Perez. Perez started bare positions ahead of him.
I think you know what though.
Slicing through the grid like bar.
This also shows the difference between the Ferrari car and also the Mercedes car. Because obviously Sainz was with Hamilton in the back. Hamilton struggled to get through the lower pack of the grid at that point of the race. He obviously got through at the end. It was Lando and Alonso and co. But Sainz just burst through the field. He just bombed through. And I think it shows how fast when Ferrari don't mess up the strategy, because the pit stop was fast as well. That was 2.3 second pit stop with Sainz as well. If they have their pit stop on job, if they don't have no engine issues, it shows how fast that car is. Because he even got like I said, through the field faster than Perez. So yeah, Sainz was cooking this weekend. To be fair with him, but obviously when you're starting from the back of the grid, and your competitors are Leclerc and actually even Kwame Leclerc as well, to be honest. But your competitions are Leclerc, George Russell, Verstappen, P1, P2, P3. He ain't going to reach it from back of the grid. But he did what he had to do this weekend, innit? So kudos to him.
Yeah, he did what he had to do. Perez had a bit of a stinker, pitted early for hards. Brakes was on fire. Had to go long on the hards. Cooked his brakes. They were literally on fire. Smoke was coming out. Still managed to recover to get into the top 10, both of them. But Sainz is impressing me, man. I always said Sainz is mid. I'm not gonna really change my mind on that, but there is a scenario now where he could, if he keeps the form. Obviously, he had the engine penalty this week, but his quality pace is good, man. He's closer to Leclerc than people think he is. Previously, earlier in the season, he was absolutely miles away from Leclerc, but I think he's closer to Leclerc now, both on race pace and quality pace.
No, I agree. I feel like his race pace is definitely improved much more this year than last year. Definitely been much more faster. I feel like Monza kind of showed that, and even his qualifying as well. Him getting his first pole even this season compared to last year, where that guy was struggling in pole. I feel like that showed a lot. But yeah, I feel like one thing with Sainz is he's very consistent. People don't get at him. Even in his McLaren days and his Renault Toyota days, even though he wasn't necessarily the fastest driver on the field, he was always a driver. Okay, cool, and get your P7s and P8s. He's always in the points consistently, and he's now matching that up with his race pace. So if you put them two together, that's a good driver there. Don't get me wrong, Leclerc's still a faster driver than Sainz, especially on that pace. Especially on wall pace, wall ability, but I feel like Sainz is starting to own his craft now, and he's matching the pace with his consistency, which is a good thing for Ferrari. If they keep their reliability up and improve their car next year, they can have them two drivers are very, very good. So
yeah, Sainz cutting his way through the grid. We had the first engine got dusted, Vettel, which brought a virtual safety car. Then we kind of saw the what I think turned the race was Leclerc staying in. Leclerc pitting under the virtual safety car. So for some fresh mediums, and Verstappen decided to stay out because we didn't see Verstappen overtake Leclerc on track. It was that made him get into the lead basically, and then once Leclerc came out, he was about 30 to 10 seconds behind. I don't know exactly, but for me personally, I think that's when the race changed, because you can't let Verstappen go in clear air and pump out laps. That's a problem. Kwame, what did you think of the decision to actually pit under the virtual safety car? Was it a smart decision by Ferrari, or was it a no-brainer?
In hindsight, like I said, that changed the race, and I feel like in hindsight, I'll say no. I thought it was way too early because the pit window because Leclerc was on softs, and the pit window I believe between like lap 18 to lap 28 or so and forth, and obviously you saw Max go all the way to like 28 or so laps on them soft tires. So I feel like Ferrari and Leclerc, they could have gone much longer than that, and they should have stuck. I feel like I'm not sure they're planning to do one stop or not, but I feel like they should have stuck to the one stop, especially when that's what Max is doing. So I feel like them doing the two stop now all of a sudden, when the driver you're trying to match is doing one lap, you're gonna lose time. You'll lose time, and yeah, I feel like it was in hindsight it wasn't the right strategy to do for Ferrari, but I feel like they thought, listen, there's a virtual safety car here. If we pit, we can if we could put in the virtual safety car or safety car, you're in less advantage than less advantage. Yeah, more of an advantage, less a disadvantage. I'm trying to say to when you just pit normally. So I feel like they thought, let's pit now. We'll catch up with Max, and we'll climb up the field or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't the right call, in my opinion. I feel like they should have waited to that pit window.
So, like you just said, Verstappen stayed out long. He went 26 laps on the softs, and Leclerc pitted quite early, and then mediums were not getting him home. They were not getting him home, so he was forced to do a two-stopper. And one thing you don't want to do in Monza is a two-stopper. Why are you doing a two-stopper in Monza? The pit lane is so long that you cannot do a two-stopper in Monza. And yeah, you did it under the virtual safety car, but you kind of like boxed yourself in because you picked yourself way earlier than the window than necessary. And then now you got an issue of, okay, now we have to go full pelt on these mediums and then box and then go full pelt on the next tires and think we're going to catch Verstappen who's driving in clear air, no traffic. It's delusional. It's not going to work. So people are saying, I saw a lot of the commentary from Sky and everybody, they couldn't really do much. Just don't pit on the safety car, under the virtual safety car. How about that? Martz, welcome, brother.
Yeah, I'm good.
I know that another Verstappen win has got your head fried.
I was talking to one of my young G's earlier, yeah. He's a Verstappen fan. The things they're saying, bro, the things they're saying these days, it's sickening, man. Sickening.
They're running around like they're
winning
packed.
this thing with no competition, yeah. And he's out here running around with mouth like he's packed. Leave it, man. It's not fun. It's not fun at all.
It's nasty, man. It's nasty. But do you think it was the right decision for Leclerc to pit under the virtual safety car very early?
Yeah, I actually do. I actually don't think Ferrari's strategy was. I mean, I think the second stop was a bit mad. I think
the tires weren't getting him home.
Huh?
Them mediums weren't going to get him home, though.
No, they weren't.
They pitted too early.
No, I don't think he did. I think they played it just right. They had to do something, and their car is like the Red Bull is clearly going to be a dominant car at Monza this year. I don't think there was much that Ferrari could have done, and I think they tried their best for once. Their strategy actually came up with something decent. They weren't something I would say, you know what, they actually messed up here. I think the second stop, was it needed? Maybe not. They could have maybe just dummied it and left him out if they knew Verstappen was coming in.
The issue is, though, bro, they have to use a second pit stop because their mediums were going off. If they did like a hard, for example, yes, it would have been faster, but it would have lasted longer. But the medium tire, it wasn't lasting, the way it wasn't going fast as they wanted, and then last. So that's why they did the second pit stop because if they did the one stop there, they could have got the race, but obviously they did a two stop.
I think my problem isn't with the one stop; it's with I think it's the second stop. I feel like the win was there, and they didn't have to pit Leclerc again. And I think they pitted it, maybe thinking obviously they're going to go racing, but this is all hindsight, isn't it? But I think maybe they should have just left him out instead of going him again for a second stop for that final stop where he could actually run the race if he was under that safety car.
Okay, this is my logic. This is the reason why I said he should have stayed out of the virtual safety car. So he's got track position, yeah? Verstappen's behind him. The virtual safety car is there's a delta there in it. So it's not gonna he's catching up to you while the virtual safety car's coming out. You can at least cause him some issues, defend the position, dust his tires for a little bit. Max just kind of like tire the situation out, then box, rather than just trying to say, "Oh, virtual safety car, I can save a couple seconds here. Let's box," even though it's nowhere near your pit window. It's because you saw Verstappen take them tires to 26 laps. I don't know whether that's car setup, whether that's the driver doing that, or because maybe Leclerc couldn't do that. That's why he had to box, because them tires were already cooked. So I felt like them softs were. Everybody started to realize during the race, yo, the softs are good, you know. Let's stay on the softs. Why was Red Bull able to analyze and see that the softs could go that long, and Ferrari was just like, oh, there's a door open there. Let's just go through that door rather than looking at the situation and look what's going on over there. Because clearly over there, Red Bull, Hannah and that, they do a better job than you, so you might as well emulate them. No? Or am I bugging? I might be bugging.
I mean, me, I agree with your point. That's why I said I feel like they should have stuck with the one stop. I feel like it's another thing that I feel like could happen though. I feel like with Leclerc pitting first between him and Max, I feel like that could have, caused a play where Red Bull like, you know what, we're gonna have to lose here. Let's just go on these soft tires. Let's ride it out and see how long we go on these softs. And somehow the softs just worked for them. And then the longer they're on the softs, the better, in it. And they just kept it going. And then they did one stop and they went from there. So I feel like that could have been like a help in the sense that, there's no we've got a gap now between him and Leclerc. We can just go as long as we can. And that's what they didn't work out. No pressure, so they're not overcooking the tires either. Yeah.
So obviously Verstappen finally pits. Leclerc takes the lead again. I think that was around lap 26, when Verstappen pitted.
Yeah.
Where was Leclerc's pace?
Boy.
I feel like if I check the data, Sainz was faster than Leclerc in this race.
He was. Leclerc was lapping Sainz. Sainz was catching up with Leclerc at that point, because he's literally right behind him. I'm not sure. I can't remember what lap on top of my head, but there was a point where literally Sainz was literally on the fresher tire and could have overtaken Leclerc. That's how close it was, and then Leclerc kind of just brushed away. But I feel like at that point though. What did I say?
I've got my data websites. I'm gonna check while you carry on. I'm gonna check.
About that, I feel like obviously Leclerc paired lap 33. So that's only 7 laps. So I feel like by that point, Leclerc's tires were coming to the end of their duration. Past the cliff, as they used to say. I feel like that's kind of what happened with Leclerc's tires. I feel like they just fell off, and the pace went there, and he had to pit.
Listen, I'm not one to. I'm trying to find answers, but maybe the answers just Verstappen and Red Bull are too good, and maybe that's the reason why Ferrari are just like, let's pack it in, guys. Let's pack it up. The season's kind of done, which is kind of sad that they've already come to that conclusion, because once again we saw this earlier in the season. You're setting the car up for quali rather than the race, and Max Verstappen and Red Bull have no interest in pole positions. They don't care. They care about winning the race. So stat padding poles and then not being able to have the car set up so it can last and have the pace in the race, in hindsight, is a bad idea. And they're not learning from it. They're not doing the homework in practice. They're not doing any, from my understanding, they didn't do as much long runs as Max Verstappen in terms of just trying to understand what the tyres are saying and what kind of lap times you can pump out. Everything's just preparation for the race, and you're not prepping yourself in that manner. I think even Elkin said, like, who's the CEO of Ferrari, was like, okay, look, we've done a good job to get back to where we was, but we need to cut out the mistakes. We need to flesh it all out. And, and maybe Red Bull had that time over the last couple of years where Mercedes was dominating to flesh all of that out of their team. So when they did actually have a car that was worthy of winning races, they don't make these dumb mistakes. Or they're at least prepared for any type of scenario that could come across.
No, I think you're right. Because they made you're right, because I feel like maybe in hindsight we put too much pressure on Ferrari. Not even pressure, but expectation for Ferrari, because cool. Yes, they were doing the talk. Yes, 2 years, head start, with their homework, whatever and whatnot. But they were last couple of seasons, they were, they were best of the rest essentially, just outside the top of the pack. And now they've kind of reached the top of the pack with Red Bull. Now they need to do the next step of, iron out the mistakes, doing the strategy, it's a process, isn't it? Trust the person and all that. So, but
Martz,
I feel like in general, the Red Bull were just faster. Red Bull were just faster than Ferrari, because when Leclerc went to the soft tires, Max on the medium tires, 20 seconds?
I think Leclerc. No, Kwame. I think Leclerc was slow though. There was a point in time. There was a point in time in the race, where Red Bull was on used mediums, and he was lapping faster than when Leclerc was on softs.
Softs, yeah.
Fresh softs.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying. The Red Bull faster than.
Is it the Red Bull?
Listen,
or is it
the
the
Red Bulls? No. The Red Bull is clearly faster. If we're not gonna say, as much as we want an agenda's got, and we want to pack Anakin.
Yeah,
you've got to admit, the Red Bull is the Red Bull is the fast car. Like we see the straight line speed of that car. Monza is basically straight lines all over. Apart from the parabolic car, that it literally is just straight lines all over. And but I do disagree with what Kwame says about we putting too much expectation on Ferrari. I mean, they're celebrating what was it 75 years of GP racing or whatever it is this year.
Mm-hmm.
Dressing like minions, yeah.
Exactly. You're at your home race. I don't think the expectation is to win your home race. I don't think no matter what car company you are or where you are on the grid, the expectation is for at least either the home driver or the home team to win that race. And I think when it comes to Italy and the Tifosi and Ferrari, that expectation is clear. It doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter how slow the car is, they all expect it to win that race. And the fact of the matter is, we have not put enough expectations on Ferrari. I think people are letting them get away with murder right now because they've been an unserious organization for, I mean, they haven't won a championship since 2007. 2007. Kwame, were you even in primary school then?
I was indeed, man.
Can I just say?
What,
technically, they won the 2007 constructors because McLaren were eliminated for
exactly, and they won both trophies on a technicality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all right, McLaren still they are, but you know what it is? It's still a technicality of what they won it on. So if you look at it, they haven't officially won a proper trophy since 2004. That's almost 20 years ago. That's the last time Arsenal won the league. Okay, in that time, you're always going to have expectations. You're always going to have expectations. I expect Arsenal to win the league every season. Obviously, I can see what the team is at the moment, and I can see, right, you know what, we're building to something at the moment, so we take the next steps. Ferrari have not shown any of those steps. They showed it kind of in 17, 18, but they never went on to do anything with it. And they come back again. They said, you know what, we've done a whole rethink of it, come back, and then saying the expectation was just to win a couple races. No, man. No one comes to win just a couple races. This is a new chance to come in and do something amazing with the new regs when you had a head start on the new regs as well. Not only that, you had the new regs were pushed back a year. So everybody had a chance because they said the amount of funding and COVID and everything, the impact of it. So you had an extra year. So on top of the 2 years you had in advance of knowing about the new regs, you had an extra year because of COVID, and you still have done nothing about it. What kind of expectations are we putting there? The bar's on the floor for them at this moment in time to win a couple races. We expecting Ferrari, the oldest institution in this sport, to win these races every season. At least get one. It doesn't matter which one it is. You're meant to be one of the top tier car company. Your motto isn't even your car manufacturer. You're a racing team first. Where is this racing performance? There is nothing there, and that's why I can't agree with you saying that we're not putting we're putting too much expectation on them to challenge for a championship. I don't think that is a big expectation. If you challenged and then you end up losing, fine. But you haven't challenged. You've won what, 3 or 4 races? Is it 4 races this season? You've let Red Bull absolutely dominate this year. That is ridiculous, and that is poor. That is poor.
Do you know what? Yeah, I agree with you in some points, and I feel sick because I'm about to defend Ferrari a little bit here. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, you're right, because unlimited funds had the regs before everybody else. Ross Brawn and Dominicali gave you that CC from like 2019. You had them regs from early, yeah. You have a wind tunnel. You make your own engines. You have a simulator. You have everything top of the arts. You have unlimited fun. Let me say that again. Your money is clear. Your money is clear. Compared to other teams, your money is clear. You've got all the things there. You got Haas there, so you're using their wind tunnel time as well.
You know, Ferrari was the only like car manufacturer to make money during the whole pandemic. They were the only car manufacturer to make money during the pandemic.
Because all the man that made money all them man that made money from Dogecoin and OnlyFans were buying Raris. That's why. That's why. That's why. All them man that were selling PPE contracts and they were supplying nothing to the government, they were buying Raris. So when corruption money is up, people buy Raris make profit. Yeah. So what I'm not gonna do is pretend like they're not on an equal footing. I think they're on a higher footing than Red Bull in terms of resources. As well.
These men have allegedly got veto as well.
Allegedly, they got a veto, bro. Let's be serious, man. They got veto power regulations.
I think the top 3 teams have a veto, don't they? I think the top 3 teams do have a veto. Like I remember when
Ferrari's had his veto from like the 80s.
Yeah, and then I think Red Bull have one as well. And then I remember Toto saying, I think he let it slip that the Mercedes had one as well, because he was talking about the 2021 regs they were introducing, and he said he had the power to veto it, and he didn't. So
yeah, because he could just tell the other teams that Mercedes powers, vote my way. But one thing I was gonna say, I just wanted to clarify the position. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, there shouldn't be a situation where Ferrari have to build themselves back up or whatever. But I think the problems at Ferrari are so deep-seated and rooted in just the culture in terms of how they approach things, their preparation, in terms of strategy, and just like everything around that car and the team around the pit crew, stuff like that, strategists, that it takes time to move away from that culture. I don't know if they're on the road there, because I'm not gonna lie, their pit crew sometimes they make dumb mistakes, yeah. But when they do a pit stop, it's fast. It's not like Mercedes. Mercedes pit stop is just slow. They're all there. They're just slow anyway. These though, when they're actually there, they'll slap a 2.3. They're hitting Red Bull's times on a pit stop. I'm talking about actually transitioning into a team that can actually is well-rounded and stuff like that. I don't think you can do that in a year. But
I mean,
I don't think Bonotto has been focused on that from 2019. I think he's only focusing on it now. Because now he's realized, we can't just make a good car here. We actually need to do everything else.
But it's been that type of thing has been showing since when Seb was in the car. Like we knew Ferrari's strategy was.
Was he there? Was Bonotto there? Was Bonotto there though, or was he?
Yes, he was. Bonotto was the one that made the engine.
No. I'm saying Bonotto wasn't at the track side. He wasn't paying attention to any of that. He was skipping races, bro.
Yeah, but you know what it is. Yeah, he got ahead of performance, ahead of engine performance at Ferrari. But you're in these meetings, you kind of know that the strategy is not it. Like that has been a telltale. So ask anybody who's probably watched the sport in the last 5-6 years, and you say what's wrong at Ferrari. A lot of people could tell you Ferrari's strategy is poor. So in 5-6 years since Seb Vettel stepped into the car, was in the championship, challenging for the championship. Why have you not sorted that over the 5-6 years? Because, okay, you can say about the engine all you want, but at the end there, you still had 5-6 years to fix your strategy team. Just to get in good people, to steal someone from Merck, steal someone from Red Bull. I'm not saying go get Hannah Schmidt or whatever or anything, yeah, but just get somebody that's competent at their job. Because what they have at the moment, it's not clearly someone who's not competent, because it's probably the same person that's been there since Alonso's days. I have no idea, but
I'm not
Exactly.
gonna pretend like Ferrari have the worst strategy team and stuff like that. Because I tell you now, there's other
No,
teams
they
on the
do.
grid.
I will say
There's other
they do.
there's
I
no
will-
because the other teams on the
Nah,
grid are
some
doing
teams.
stupidness. Other teams
that.
on the grid are doing stupidness, but no one pays attention to them because they're at the back.
No, but
Because if they were
I'm
front
sorry,
runners,
but
I'm not gonna lie.
when
This
you're at
season,
the
if
top,
McLaren were front runners, yeah, you would have seen howlers strategy. You would have seen real howlers, but nobody's
yeah,
pays
but I
attention
think
because we're in midfield.
when you're at the top, when you're at the top, you have to make sure everything's on point. You know this. It's in anything. When you're at the top, you have to make sure everything's on point. Because if it's not, if it's one tiny slip up, they'll come and get you for it. So when you're at the top, you have to make sure everything's on top. You can't say, oh, you know what, other teams do this, other teams do that. I don't have other teams' expectations. Other teams in the midfield, they're not challenging me they're not meant to be challenging for the title. I am. So why is my strategy not on point? Why can't I come up with a good strategy one weekend? Listen, for as bad as Mercedes strategy is sometimes, they come up with something great sometimes. They come up with a Barcelona every once in a while. Yeah, they might flop every now and then, but they actually do have moments in time where they're like, you know what, they've done something well here. Ferrari don't have that. When was the last time you can actually say, you know what, brilliant strategy from Ferrari? Tell me. I would literally like to know. Because I don't think I've ever watched a race where I
You
could
can't,
say,
man.
Okay,
brilliant,
I'm not gonna lie.
brilliant strategy
They
Ferrari.
say plan A, plan B, plan C, but in reality,
They could do plan X, Y, Z. It doesn't
nobody's
mean
copying your
anything.
strategy anyway. Why are you putting a code on it? Nobody's copying it. It's like copying the dumb guy in a test. Why am I copying this guy's homework? I don't care. I'm gonna fail, bro. So why are you putting a code on it? Don't be doing all this. You know when you're doing that, like you're hiding your work in school, like you're crouched over hiding the paper. You don't be doing that when nobody wants to copy you. You get me? But at the end of the day, I don't think they can fix the problems now. Obviously, this season's done. This season's done for Ferrari. Yeah. Do they just say, Kwame? Did they just say on to 2023 now? Do they just focus on that?
Yeah, they should go on to 2023. But what about saying it? I feel like with Ferrari, their issue. I feel like it's culturally and it's like deep rooted, like inherently, like there's too much politics in Ferrari, man. Like we all know Ferrari, there's politics. Too many men running this. Too many have this type of agenda. Too many guys back this driver, that driver. A lot of the team doesn't help as well that they're based there, Maranello only, so they don't have the connect from all the teams that are based in England in the of the A40 whatever. So I feel like it's a deep cultural issue, structural issue of the team. Too much people in agendas, but I feel like they have to break. If I was them, fail to next year, this season you ain't gonna catch up with Red Bull and Verstappen. I'm afraid you've got the basis of a car there. You need to fix on your reliability of the engine. You need to fix on your strategies. And once they do that, then I feel like they should be able to challenge because the drivers are there, the car's there, the base of the engine is there, but just the reliability strategy they need to fix up.
Oh, dearie me, Ferrari. If you're a Ferrari fan out there, or you just new into F1 and you thought, oh, let me follow Ferrari, you're in a world of pain, or your future's going to be a world of pain because I've been seeing this shit all my life. They haven't done anything. They ain't even changed one bit. You know them ones though. It's like our babes have changed too when you want to get back with your girl and they get caught cheating again. That's what Ferrari are. Ferrari's on them moves. We'll move on now. So the two-stopper didn't work for Leclerc, but there was a glimmering hope when Daniel Ricciardo's engine decided to pack it in, finally. That Mercedes engine had a little bit of reliability issues with Vettel and Ricciardo both retiring in this race, which was on lap, I think it was lap 40 something. So there was only 10 laps remaining, but that was an opportunity for Leclerc for the whole pack to bunch up again. Leclerc was on newer softs. I think Leclerc pitted on lap 34, so he had fresher softs, and Verstappen still had those mediums. Even though he pitted under the safety car, they both pitted under the safety car for scrubbed softs. I think everybody did. But Daniel Ricciardo's car was in a place where it was clear that you couldn't recover it. We saw it in F2 races, F3 races, that you need to get a crane and get that out because there's no sideboards to just kind of like push it and slide through. Mark. Yeah, Kwame. Sorry for any interruptions there. Martz didn't switch off his mic. But Kwame, do you think it should have been a safety car, or do you think they should have red flagged the session?
I feel like, I'm not annoyed with their decision, to be honest. I feel like safety car is fair enough. I feel like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go a bit of a rant here, but I feel like this goes back to what we said at the beginning with the FIA, the rule book not being set, the rule book not being clear with the FIA. I feel like what they did was they tried to, okay, to answer the question, Mahad, I'm happy to save the car, and I feel like it was the right decision by me. I understand what they try to do, because I feel like you said, Ricardo's car was parked to the side. They tried moving it with their hands. They couldn't move it. It was on literally where it was on the track. There wasn't, enough space. So, cool, let's get a crane and move it. But obviously, when they got the crane out now, you got two options. You either, like I said, red flag it and then start again later, or you can just, yellow flag, and then you'll go from there, innit? And obviously, what happened with Abu Dhabi last time, where, their man red flagged it, and then they, started again. Fans were happy. F3 race, yesterday. Not yesterday. F3 race happened. They red flagged it completely, and fans were happy. And I feel like the issue is F1, they need to stop playing up to the F1. F1 and FIA need to stop playing up to the fans. They need to go off the rule book and what they think is right. Because now you got people get annoyed about the different circumstances that happen. The yellow flag, for me, I'm not annoyed with it, because, and if that's what they're doing by protocol, if that's the safest way to go through, cool, do that. But yeah, I'm not mad at the safety car yellow flag, in my opinion. But they need to make it clear, just in general, what happens when we get this decision, because you can't have fans up in arms, with this committee up in arms. Just make one rule, stick with it. So yeah, I'm not annoyed with it. I'm not. Yeah, at least it's not a championship position, because it's definitely going to impact the season 100%. But either way, I don't think much going to change. So yeah.
Martz, are you upset that the race ended under a safety car? Because to me, that was the norm prior to AD 21. I don't know if it skewed everybody's mindset, or is it a case of people are like, oh, look, you can finish under a safety car. Look, they purposely knocked over Lewis Hamilton there.
So I wasn't really watching any of the discourse on Twitter or anything about it. So I kind of just, I just didn't like Sky talking about it. Like all Crofty, Karoon, and all them talking about bringing up Abu Dhabi.
They were upset, right?
Huh?
They were upset that the race ended under a safety car. The Sky.
Yeah, I don't really get why. I don't get why. I mean, it's what's meant to happen. My personal opinion is, if you have to do it, red flag the race. If it comes down to the last 10 laps, just red flag the race. Red flag it and do a standing start. I think if you want races to end like that, because it doesn't make sense to. It's not entertainment wise. It's not fun to watch as the safety car. A race end under a safety car. I remember after France, there was a huge. I can't remember what France it was. Was it 2018 or 2017 in France, where there was like a huge thing about the race ending under a safety car, and how they want to avoid this as much as possible, or whatever. But as I said, my personal opinion is, if it's under 10 laps, just red flag the race, do a standing start, and let everyone be able to change their tires so you can get the best race possible. Race finishing. I know it might not be fair in terms of the fact that, you have to get past all the lap cars and stuff, but you do have to do that anyway under a safety car. You have to let all the lap cars through, and that's just wasting time, precious racing time. So, just red flag it if it's under 10 laps and just let them race.
One thing I forgot to say though, to add to your point, though, is because with red flagging, that's fair enough, innit? Because I mean, if that's what they think is right, if that's what people want to do, cool. But I guess one can argue that Ricardo, what happened to Ricardo with him crashing, may not be a red flag to know, because cool, yes, he binned it, And yes,
Yeah,
they
no, I
took the crane
get it.
out, but where the car was, it wasn't in a a jeopardizing position. It wasn't in a situation where they're going to impact the rest of the grid. They can easily move it out with slowing the field down. It can be a waste of time, for example. So
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's not a red flag situation at all, but I'm just talking more for the entertainment racing aspect of it. I mean, at the end of the day, Formula One is an entertainment sport, and you do something to make it more interesting. And just red flag it. Like it's just let them race for the last. Because at the end of the day,
Massey used to red flag every 5 seconds because he was on the entertainment.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, what the safety car is meant to do is to bunch up the cars anyway. So if you're going to bunch up the cars, instead of wasting 10 laps to do it, just red flag the race, do a standard start. That's how I look at it, really. Obviously, not every situation needs to be red flagged. And obviously, if it's like a midway through the race, you don't have to red flag the race. I mean, the safety car's not really wasting that much laps. But I think when it comes down to the end of it, everyone wants to go put on the softs. So red flag it, put on the softs, and let's have some fun.
Okay, I understand the entertainment aspect of it. Like, if you're looking at it that way, if you're just looking at a sporting aspect and you just want people to follow the rules are the whole safety car. End on the safety car. So either way, like, one thing that people are not getting quite confused with is that the decisions made, and this is not me defending the FIA, I absolutely despise them, but the decisions made last year with Massey and the old FIA regime to the decisions made this year and the new race directors are going to be different, right? So if they do something different to AD, they're supposed to do something different to how AD was.
Exactly. So
it's kind of like, when you get governments and it's like, oh, why was this policy put in? And then this government wasn't even responsible for that policy. That's the old government, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's like you're blaming and they're not the same, they're not approaching it the same way. I've got problems with this new regime with a lot of things in it. Like in the F2 race, they were just slapping out 10-second stop-go penalties for nothing. And I was just like, I haven't seen those since the 90s. I don't really understand why you're slapping out stop-go penalties 10 seconds.
But again, isn't that another different set of stewards and stuff?
No, it's the same. On a race
same guys.
It's the same guys. So if there's really, and obviously we've got 2 race directors for different races and stuff like that. So we're getting inconsistencies between both of them as well, how harshly they treat track limits and penalties and so on and so on. For me personally today, I'm a bit nervous when I see a crane on track and I'm seeing cars go past the crane. So, and that's because of the whole situation. So, and it's not a fact that, these are grown mans, this is dry conditions. They're going really slow. They're behind a safety car anyway. It's about some of these drivers are bozos.
Yeah, you just never know what can happen, man.
Nothing could happen. Something could happen where that car goes straight into that crane and then where we're at. So that's what I would have personally red flagged it. Because I saw someone in the it was either F2 or F3, they were getting a crane in a similar position to take it out and they red flagged the race. I think it was F3. They red flagged it.
But they're all bozos. They're definitely bozos. All of them.
No, but then it was in a position where they had to get the crane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was clear to see that Ricciardo's situation, within half a lap, they should have known the stewards, okay, we need to red flag this stuff. They called out the safety car really early, but the safety car didn't come out. I don't know where the safety car driver was. Was he taking a shit? Where was he at? Because they put the safety car out, the sign up, and the guy didn't come out for 3 more laps. So these guys were doing up safety car by themselves. They'll just go around while Ricciardo was partnered with stewards there. And then there was a crane going backwards while guys were going by. For entertainment purposes, if that was Massey, red flag straight away.
Red flag.
I'm not even rating Massey, but he was doing red flags in Baku when there's 1 lap left. So he was doing real life Hell in the Cell. He was doing WWE things in Formula 1. But they could have red flagged it and then we'd have 10 laps left. It's not even about, Leclerc was robbed the opportunity of winning. He wasn't going to win anyway. They were both on fresh softs. They were both on the same softs. It's not like there was a tire differential there. They're both on scrub softs. And who's got the faster car? You would have known what would have happened. So there's a real distrust of the FIA. It's understandable. I like Martz. It's understandable that people distrust the FIA. I don't know why Sky Sports are pushing the agenda of, we didn't get to see a race. It's scandalous that they finished under a safety car. I grew up watching races finishing under a safety car. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a fair few end under a safety car. It's not the best thing.
Man are going hospital and they're not even red flagging races back in the day. They're like, it's just safety car, yellow flags. But yeah, I understand the distrust of the FIA and I understand all the nuances behind it because people are like, they feel a sense of being robbed because they're like, look, they can do it, but they chose not to do it in AD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why there's.
But I mean, that's clear now. That is clear. There's nothing really to be said of that. Like, that is clear. They chose not to do it, as you said, and there's nothing really. I mean, there is something they could have done. They could have overturned it, but clearly that wasn't going to suit their narrative. And I think that whole season was just very corrupt anyway. Just very corrupt and very mad. There was too much going on.
But like you said, man, there's too much white lines when it comes to the rules, man. These guys need to make it as clear and just structured. And to be fair, I'll give Mahad's points earlier with the red flag now because obviously we don't have a situation, George Bianchi, where, RIP, where a man crashed into the crane and then man's not hitting him. So, I fully get it from the safety point of view. But the whole yellow flag, red flag, I just feel like just have one rule, have it either where races in set conditions must either end in a yellow flag or races in set conditions, or I know that's the rules, or have it where races must never end in safety car and that happens, red flag, cool, and then start again.
Do you know what I thought? Do you know what I just thought?
What?
When they did that one lap shootout in Baku? If they decided to just put that, if they just decided to finish that under a safety car, Hamilton was the title.
Yeah, he would have, because he wouldn't have crashed it after the restart.
And he would have just been P2.
Yeah.
It's deep. But, let's go on to our drivers of the day. Winner, Max Verstappen, obviously. We already spoke about that. So let me get the votes out. Because I know we put some polls out, didn't we? I wonder who won the poll. Who was our nominees, Martz?
Sir Lewis, Max, Nick De Vries, and Sainz.
So Nick De Vries standing for Alex Albon, who has appendicitis, who has to get his appendix taken out on this morning. So these very, very, very. Was it this morning or last night? It was this morning, right? Very, very last minute shout. He was doing F3 practice for Aston Martin yesterday. The winner of the poll. 41.4%, just pipping Lewis Hamilton. Buck De Vries. Why do we call him Buck?
I died.
Was that autocorrect?
What's that called? Autocorrect.
We're going to call him Buck De Vries from now on, That's it. That's his name, bro. Buck De Vries. Talk to me about Buck De Vries, guys. How was his performance? First performance. Latifi's a dunner, right? He's gone. He's finished.
Oh, yeah.
He's done it here, man.
Yeah. You're 21st in a 20-man race. How's that possible, bro? Everyone has points but you. That's ridiculous.
The man just got in the car. He couldn't even fit in the car. I just see the image of him being lifted out of the car because it was fitted for Albon, whose Albon was way taller than him, right? So at the end of the race, they had to lift him out of the car like a toddler. You get what I'm saying? That's how peak is.
I think it was a great performance from him today. There's been a lot of talk about him and whether he's good enough. He's 27. He's not a child anymore. Even though they still classify him as a young driver for some reason. There's a lot of talk about whether he can do it.
Jesse Lingard had
exactly. I mean, he proved he can. He can do it. He put on a few good moves, and he just held his track position.
He's sticking on Gasly as well towards the end.
Yeah, didn't do anything special, but didn't do anything wrong either. Just a very solid performance.
Latifi's not good. I know that's not surprising to people, but he really ain't good, man. He really, really ain't good. And there is no way. I heard a couple of articles over the past couple of weeks saying Tost was thinking about it. They're thinking about, oh yeah, maybe we'll keep him.
Yeah, I've heard a few.
What the hell? What are you talking about? What has he done in the last? He's had more years than anybody should have in Formula One of that caliber. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on the grid since 2019. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, Oscar Peter Williams, if they're a serious organization, they would get rid of Latifi. Because, Nick De Vries, like, we talk about this off air. Me and Mahad, we don't really rate him like that. We don't really rate him. Let's be true. I don't really rate the guy. But, obviously, him being Mercedes' test driver, him being, in the FE program, Toto's is a manager as well. He gets heat and cool. He was in Aston Martin this weekend. Yeah, Formula champion, FG champion, all that.
What are you hyping?
He was in Aston Martin this weekend. He was in Aston Martin this weekend. That man went to the Williams same weekend. Man been 2 cars weekend, yeah. And he still packed Latifi. This guy qualified P2. Latifi was P16. So Latifi didn't get to Q1.
Look, Latifi qualified. Obviously, he qualified quite. He didn't get to. Yeah, he qualified P16. Then they moved him up to P10 because of all of the penalties and stuff like that. Yeah, he ended up P15. Nick De Vries only lost 1 position. And he started P8.
And that was because of
P9.
That was because of Sainz in it, basically.
Sainz and Hamilton.
Sainz Hamilton.
Yeah.
And obviously Daniel Ricciardo retiring as well. But it's still like, come on, man. We got to get him out of here. I think Albon would have done better.
Yeah, same.
Because that car is good in the straight line.
Yeah.
That car is rapid. Yeah. And this is a straight line track. So we didn't really see I don't think we'd see all the ceiling of that car's capability this weekend. But De Vries did a good job. If their lineup next year is De Vries and Albon, I'm not mad at it. Because I believe that we're getting rid of an incompetent driver in the team. Get this mum out of F1. So yeah, De Vries, congratulations.
He's bad, man. He's really bad.
This is bad. This is bad. He's bad, man. Hey, the Latifi Dior, worst driver of the weekend. Guess who won? Latifi.
You know what?
4.5% of the roasts. Oh my lord.
You don't even have to. I know we tried to refrain from putting him on that list, but then sometimes he just brings out a special performance, and this was one of those, man. This was an absolute shocker. Absolute shocker.
He had a horror fest, man. He had a horror fest. And every time something happens, like, he always says there's something wrong with the car. And he acts mad surprised. I know he's game, man. So what do you mean? What? He just looks, he's so confused about everything. This guy is a Make-A-Wish driver, man.
The clutch not working.
The clutch not working. Is it break?
Funny, man.
What's happening?
Too funny.
He's a Make-A-Wish driver, man. Get this guy out of it. Do you know what, yeah? We've got our nominees as K-Mag, Mick, Danny Rick, and Latifi, yeah? Danny Rick, he's engine blow up. He would have got points. I don't understand why he's there. Got shed blow strategy as well. Mick's a bum. Mick was going toe-to-toe with Latifi. They had soft, fresh tires. They'll do switcheroos in that. Mick is not that guy. K-Mag, I think he got damaged on the first lap. His diffuser broke. So he was just running around.
Yeah, that's probably because he crashed into someone, isn't it?
Crashed someone the first lap, bro.
No, Bottas went into the back of him, bro.
It was in Bottas, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he still crashed.
No.
K-Mag.
He came last, bro. He came last. Bro, Latifi came ahead of K-Mag, you know.
K-Mag got a broken diffuser from lap 1. What do you want from him? You can't do anything.
Mick finished ahead of K-Mag. This is my thing with K-Mag.
If you get hit from behind, come on, guys, man. Let's not be sure. If you get hit from behind,
K-Mag calls that
turn
himself.
1.
K-Mag calls that himself because K-Mag does these things. How many first lap incidents is he going to get into before he realizes?
Yeah, no, he's on.
Where's my spatial awareness?
He's one of them drivers, man. Pull up and crash. That's him. That's him.
I respect K-Mag, man. Who else do we have? Do you know who had a howler? Ocon. Ocon had a howler.
No, you
No,
know
they
what?
put
To
him
be
on
fair,
hards. They put him on the hards. They put him on the hards, didn't they? And the hards
That
weren't
as
doing
well.
that.
And
Before
also
Alonso
the qualifying
had to retire the car, Alonso was miles ahead of him.
that is one of the
Yeah, but
qualifying.
He
he had
did
an
it
engine
wrong.
penalty as well. He had an engine
He
penalty
weren't
as
that
well.
deep. He only had
Yeah, it's rookie as
he
well.
started P14. Weren't that deep.
Yeah, and he finished P15 in it.
He finished P11.
P11. Oh man, that's not
Yeah, it's
that
one
bad.
point off. Yeah, the
Nah,
point. Yeah.
man.
It's not that
Nah,
bad.
man.
Listen,
That
you finished
Alpine's
ahead of
quick,
Alonso
man.
today. You finished ahead of
This
Alonso
is
today.
shameless. Man,
No,
got,
that's
Alpine got
shameless. That's
0
shameless
points
now. That's
today.
shameless now.
They got 0
That's
points.
shameless.
Come on,
That's
man.
shameless, man.
I
Norris
get
had
how
a
you
bit of a
live.
howler. Norris had a bit of a howler.
Alonso got points, man.
At the
I
beginning,
think that
Norris
was
had
the
a
strategy, innit? Yeah, he had a bad start in it, but then he made it up quickly.
He made
And
it up,
then-
and then that pit stop. Lord have mercy.
Mercy.
And we're coming back, man. McLaren Fan TV this week, man. I'm having a rant.
You better.
Because that
I
is
need to cook you guys
disgusting.
this week.
That is disgusting. Why was he in that? You see how Hamilton did that double overtake on Gasly and Norris.
That was cool.
Norris is
Actually,
thinking,
yeah.
why am I even here? He should have been on the road. Norris should have been on
Towards-
the road. He shouldn't have been involved there. Why is he getting docked
I
on?
can't lie.
Because of a slow pit stop.
Gasly should have dunked the Ricardo as well, man. Gasly was on Ricardo for a good half of the race, but man, stuck in a
Ricardo
DRC.
was weaving crazy. He didn't get no penalty. Crazy weaving. And then he's got his face on his helmet. Like a bozo. Do you see Ricardo's helmet? He's got
That's
his
the helmet,
face
man.
on
So
his
it's him
helmet.
screaming, like him shouting.
It's him screaming on the top of his helmet. And he's weaving on the Monza straight. Thank God he's not.
This man don't have a job. This man don't have a job for next year, bro.
So,
job centre,
Gasly's
bro.
on the radio saying this guy's driving crazy. Of course he's driving crazy, man. His head is lost, man. His head is fucking gone. All right.
Man don't know
Thank
how he's
you,
going to pay for his electric bills next week, bro. He's like,
Lord. Hey, who are we giving the Massey Award to? We're gonna give it to the FIA.
the safety car driver.
Safety
What-
car
what
driver
did you
taking taking a shit instead of being on,
Yeah.
safety car duty. Because where was my man?
Yeah, bro. I think that was just crazy.
And I just want to say this is a message to all Ferrari fans. We saw all your tweets that you sent us earlier in the season. You deserve everything that you're getting right now. You literally
Wait,
deserve
hold on. Have you spoken about George Russell yet?
No, we're gonna get to him right now. Now.
Oh. I thought we were wrapping up.
No.
I was like, hold
Well,
on.
I
Hold
give you whenever you're on the pod, I will give you the platform to speak of George Russell. So George Russell, P2 started on the grid, cut the chicane on the first corner, lost pace with Leclerc, got dunked on by Verstappen,
An open Yash. That's what he
yeah.
did.
and basically ended up on the podium again. Talk to me about Russell's. Do you know what? I'm going to say this. Yeah.
Him,
Do you
Max
think?
Pogba,
Do you think?
Send
If there
me
was,
the number to their witch doctor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because this guy's luck, it just does not run out, man. It just
I think
does
Sainz
not
would have
run
took him.
out.
If there was no safety car, I think Sainz takes him.
No,
Sainz was on fresh
he
sauce.
wouldn't have. Sainz, I think it was 8 laps ago. Sainz was, well, yeah, he would have.
It's
Yeah, he
like
actually
6,
would have.
7
I
seconds behind him.
remember because Sainz, yeah, was starting to take 1.2 off George, yeah, and I think
Every
it was
lap.
like 8 laps left. Every lap, he was doing about 1.2. It was like for the last, so before the safety car, I think the last 2 laps was like 1.2 he was doing off George. And then the safety car comes. Oh my days, how much luck can these men get? It's ridiculous, blood. Him and Max just luck. Every second. This guy, he's not good. He's not good, yeah? He's just
All right,
driving on luck.
Calm down, bro. Calm down,
Calm
man.
down.
Run your gender, man. But
Hold on,
yeah,
hold on.
yeah.
Nah, man,
The last bit, you have to calm down, please. It's like when you say
Nah.
people say Max ain't good. Calm down. Come on.
He's not good either, bro. It's the car.
Get out of here, man.
Ain't that what he used to say about Lewis, bro? It's the car.
Well, as you say,
Car.
Bottas, man. If that was Bottas in that car, yeah, where Bottas be? Bottas would be nowhere near.
If Bottas was in that car, he would have won the race, yeah? Hold that.
Lord. So this is the most shameless thing that you're doing is that you're propping Bottas for Russell slander, and you know Bottas is a bum. What are you doing? You can't do this, man. We're gonna have to get you arrested.
Boy.
So Russell is now 16 points behind Leclerc.
Trace.
Is he gonna shithouse the second place in the championship?
Yeah. probably.
He could do nothing. He could do.
Because I'm looking at it now, yeah.
I think
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's scary
gonna be
hours because I'm
Lewis.
not gonna lie. Lewis is 168, yeah. George Russell's on 203, yeah. Unless Hamilton gets like a bag of
race win.
podiums or a win or a race win, yeah.
Race win. Yeah.
Russell might pip him, you know. And then we're looking at a Button Hamilton situation.
Basically, that's the perfect analogy. That is literally the perfect analogy for the situation.
It's not the perfect analogy because Button's a world champion. George will never be a world champion.
My days, man.
No, that's kind of true because when Button and Hamilton were teammates, they both had one championship. You know what I'm saying? Russell hasn't even got a race win. You know what I'm saying? Button was out here winning in 2005 before he was even won a championship. He was out here. He was winning a long time ago. But Russell, he might pip Leclerc, depending on what Ferrari's reliability is.
I don't think he'll pip Leclerc. I think Leclerc they'll get points. I think the Ferrari has one more win in it. I think Singapore, that'll be a good race for Ferrari. I mean, they normally have a good race in Singapore. So I think they might be able to do it. It's quite narrow. If they can get pole, which they normally like to do, Singapore's not one of those tracks known for overtaking. So yeah, I think Ferrari might be able to do something in Singapore. But after that, it's just straight Red Bull. I don't see anything else after that because Suzuka, Red Bull, USA, maybe Ferrari have a chance, but Mexico, Brazil,
Leclerc's winning the title by Japan, Suzuka. So do they ever have any incentive to win races after that point? They don't really care. They'll just be stat padded.
No, what's it called? Max can win the title next race, Singapore.
Yeah, that's if Charles like DNFs or some crap like that, isn't it?
That's
Singapore heat.
I thought it was just he has to win and that's it.
No. No way. Okay, Max got 335 points. Oh my lord. Charles Leclerc's got 219. Oh, this is nasty, man.
No,
back in the, do you know what? Yeah, back in the,
it's one win, bro. It's one win.
When we look back on this, like 10 years from now, we look at the Wikipedia, look at the tables, and look at the standards of points. It's gonna look nasty. This is disgusting. This is Hamilton 2015 levels, man. This is Hamilton 2020 levels. This is nasty. Okay, listeners' questions, guys. We go through them.
George Russell's still a prick.
All right, calm down.
I don't like it. I really don't.
Apologies to all George Russell listeners, including Aldas.
I don't care. I don't like him. Aldas knows I don't like him.
He's a mark.
All right. We've got a question from David SB4. Another Ferrari loss. Hold that, mate. Is Mick going to be in F1 next year?
No.
I'm gonna. So that's your answer, Kwame.
Yes, I think he'll be. I think we'll stay at Haas. I think there's talk of him. Yeah, I think we'll stay at Haas. See, I've got an agenda to run in. As
I said, if Gio comes,
where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna
take his seat?
I personally don't believe he's gonna be at Haas because I don't think him and Gunter get along. But where does he go if that ain't there? If the Haas ain't there, where's he going? He's not going to Alpine.
Maybe
tell you that now.
The only place he can possibly go to is Alpine. If not, then yeah, it's not looking good.
He's on the streets.
But listen, I don't think Haas are that dumb or that desperate for the Ferrari check and Ferrari bag for them to sack him for Gio. I pray not. I really pray not. Because listen,
okay.
I can't mess with agenda again.
This is the speaking.
But
I'm telling you, if
Gio
takes his seat, I've won.
This agenda.
I've won. If Gio takes a seat, I've won, Kwame. That's it. There's nothing he could do, even if he gets fired the next year.
You won the battle, but not the war.
No, the war is finished. I've won.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, Martz. Yeah? If you're Gunter Steiner and you got a choice between Mick and Daniel Ricciardo, who you picking? You got to pick Ricciardo, man.
Well, do you?
This is a question, I can't lie.
Do you really?
Unmotivated
Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricciardo better than Mick, come on, man. You can't do this, man.
No, I'm not saying he isn't better than him, but he's an unmotivated Daniel Ricciardo. Do you really want that?
American team, they'll just give him a cowboy hat and he'll be occupied, man.
Yeah, but they want to get points as well. He won't get points. He'll be like, Just be
Make-
jamming in
make-
30.
You get
like
points,
that.
man.
Look,
Make
You
it
get
he's
points.
not getting points in the McLaren, bro. Why does Lando
He
have
could've
twice
got-
as
he
many
could've
points
got-
as him?
Yeah, it's a carry.
He will
job
get points
still.
a day if he
I
didn't
want
touch.
everybody in the F1 world to acknowledge, yeah, that there's a fight between Alpine and McLaren, and is Norris one man up. I want people to know that we are in September. We are 16
I
races
question
in.
Mahad.
It is Norris
Question.
one man up.
I got a question for you though. Wait, this is my listener's question. Yeah, who
Right.
goes first, Norris or Piastri when Ugo comes?
Depends on how good you is. Really depends on how good you is. It really
All
depends
right,
on
say
how good
he,
you
say
is.
he's that guy. Yeah, say
If he's a
that
world
guy.
beater and he wins the F3, F2, he's up there, yeah. Really depends on how it goes. Personally, I don't care because I'm eating regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like I said it before, yeah. If Oscar comes in and packs that Lando, I'm eating. Because how we got a guy that's better than Lando? That's it. We're eating even more. Because we got a good driver.
So you're saying
I mean-
Lando basically then?
I think if we don't get him, if we don't get him a title by the time Hugo's there, or get him into race-winning situations where he's in a race-winning car, he's gonna go anyway. He'll go Red Bull. He'll get onto his agent. He'll go Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then he'll have to deal with the whole team orders thing with Max. Good luck to him.
I think Max will be retired by then. Hopefully, he would have won his fifth championship.
Max
by
is
then.
what, 25 now? He's got what? I think he's got 6 more seasons.
He'll do a Kimi, either or. He'll either retire
You man-
early, like Kimi did.
You man
before-
laughed at me.
I
You man
can't
laughed
deal
at
with it.
you man laughed at me when I said that Max was going to win 5 titles. You man laughed at me. Just want to remember that. All right, next questions. Should the race have been red flagged from the Fifth Wheel podcast F1? We spoke about that earlier, so if you want to rewind, guy, you'll hear our answer for that one. Docs on Quack 9, aka my biggest enemy on Twitter. Would Latifi have ever gotten a seat at Minardi HRT Virgin Racing if they were still about? P.S. Tell Kwame his acceptance review for Gasly has been accepted. Green lighted. He was trying to G-check you about. He's trying to G-check you about
Yeah.
Gasly happened.
You know what? Yeah.
Are you backing Gasly and Ocon though? Answer that question.
You false flagging. Why you're both
There's
sides
no
of the
rules,
gang,
man.
man?
There's no rules, man. Listen,
Why you're both
anything
sides?
get love. Anything blue get love. Anything blue get love.
So you
know.
was rating Victor Martins this weekend, yeah?
Yeah,
free
I've
champion.
actually got some stocks in, you know. Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
here we
shout out
go.
to
You got
Martin,
stocks in
South
everybody,
Bridge,
man.
South Bridge.
Your portfolio is stretched. Man's,
Hey,
this
listen,
guy's a hedge fund.
swear.
This guy's a hedge fund manager, bro.
2023, the portfolio. I'm going to read my portfolio. Don't worry. 2023.
You know,
I'm gonna shoot on
all he's
portfolio.
got is
You
conflict of
can't
interest.
rate every. This is a serious, isn't it, Martz? This is a serious issue. You can't rate every driver, Kwame.
No, it's
I don't
conflict
rate every
of
driver.
interest, man.
I've got agendas for certain man. Gio is one of
You
them.
got agenda for Gio. That's it.
Zhao, another one. Triple Zhao. I tweeted that.
We've only
Yeah,
just
we'll
hates
see if
Alpha
you're
Tauri
Triple Zhao.
Alpha Romeo
Stop back up.
drivers. That's it.
Yeah,
You just know that Alpha
driver.
Romeo drivers.
Boy, oh
Yeah,
boy.
I do still, man.
GG,
A lot of FT good. I'm needy. You said it. I've got agenda for people, man. But certain drivers I rate. But yeah, 2020. It's because I had a jinx apparently. Apparently, I was jinxing drivers, so that's why he was saying, are you sure? Because I think Gasly hype. But listen,
Actually, do you know what? You don't rate Sergio Perez.
nah, not really. It's
See,
mad because I used to,
I found
I used to rate Perez, but you man were gassing me when to Red Bull saying he's gonna beat Max, he's gonna win the championship.
I didn't
just
gas
mean,
it.
come on, man, it ain't gonna happen.
I know a certain man
Not
was
you,
saying he's going to
but
beat
not
Max.
you, not you.
Embarrassing.
I
Certain
did, and
people were
what?
gassing him too
And
much.
what?
You
I
and
said it,
you and
what?
Kunle embarrassing.
I don't care. Listen, yeah. Listen.
All right.
Ops in it. He's an op.
All right, let's
Nah, he's
answer
an
his
op,
question.
so.
Let's answer his question. Does Latifi get a seat at Minardi HRT Virgin Racing? I don't think he gets a seat at
Yeah.
Minardi.
No. I think Minardi had
HRT maybe. HRT maybe. Actually,
Them
did
man had
Virgin
Carter
Racing
Kane
have
and
paid
Clean
drivers?
them, man.
Did Virgin Racing
De
have
La
paid
Rosa,
drivers?
them people there.
I think so, yeah.
That Glock,
I don't
that the Grassy, I think. That
I remember
Bojo.
that.
he'll get a seat at Caterham. I think he'll get a seat at Caterham.
You know what? K on
It
your
was
style
them-
was actually
no, do
cool.
you know what? It was them
Truly
teams.
equivalent.
It was them teams, yeah, that needed a driver, like for money.
Yes,
Cosworth engine teams.
You'll get into HRT.
Yeah, no. Ironically, Virgin Racing had a Cosworth engine. But Cosworth, no, but they used to have Timo Glock.
Yeah,
Timo
bro,
Glock was a
that's the
good
Virgin.
driver.
Okay, but I see you get into HRT, not Virgin. Dad George Bianchi and
He'll be
Musha.
HRT.
Yeah, Dad George Bianchi, that Verline.
Like even if you go all the way
Emmanuel,
back, he ain't getting into Jordan. He ain't built like that.
hell no. That friends and
Oh no, Eddie.
truly Schumacher.
No, Jordan. No.
Jordan were a good team, man.
But now I want him out the door. I want him out of F1. So good riddance. Let's see. Next question from at Oliver Dirtby. Shout outs to you, brother. Did the FIA ruin another race by waffling with the safety car versus red flag? Why did the safety car pick up Russell when it could have picked up Max maybe 2 laps later? He was taking a shit. The safety car driver was taking a shit. And they were waffling. It should have been a red flag, or they should have brought the safety car immediately. We spoke about this earlier, but thank you for your question, Oliver Dirty. Next question. Do you think the finish reflects what could have happened in AD last year if Sir Lewis Hamilton had pitted, given up track position? He's not good.
100%. Whatever happened, Max was winning that race.
Do you know
If
what's so
Lewis
funny?
pitted, he was winning.
If he pitted for softs, there's like 4 cars between them. What's he gonna do? 1 lap?
No, as I said, Max was winning that race no matter what. It was.
So even if Lewis pitted,
Lewis had a Lewis didn't
one
have
lap.
a set of shots anyway, did he?
I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
I don't think he
Yeah,
did.
I'm a crazy don. Yeah, I swear to God, if I was Lewis and I pitted, yeah, and I saw all them cars in
I would have
front of me,
crashed it.
mother's life,
I'd have
I'm
crashed
going
it.
past them anyway. I would have gone past all of the unlapped cars.
Man, I said Dan tipped him, bro.
I'll be
Dan
right
tipped him.
next. I'll be right next. You said that. I'll be right next to Max Verstappen. I'm ignoring the call. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Fuck them. But these questions, they're triggering, man. Like, man, you guys just always bringing up AD. I'm trying to forget that shit, man.